Okay, hey everybody. Well, that hey came out loud. Usually does. Anyway, I am on my way to physical therapy, and I just wanted to make some little notes. I'm going to do this every once in a while on all these health things going on and my improvements, including the physical therapy. And some of it is funny, but not in the ha-ha way, but more in the really way. Or yeah, like this one. I don't know if you've seen that show called Ghost. I really like it. I really like that Thursday lineup kind of thing. What is it? George and Mandy's First Wedding, then Ghost, Matlock, and Elsbeth. I like those. And the Ghost one, I just find it hilarious. And recently I noticed on YouTube, somebody has, I don't know the name of the channel, but or maybe it's more than one channel, they make compilations of each character, moments of each character, certain kinds, and from Ghost. And they're really funny. But the thing about it is, I watched that during all this health problems. I went back and, when I first saw the show, went back and watched a bunch of the older ones. But now, when I started watching those compilations, I'm like, okay, the car next to me was making way too much noise with music. But anyway, some of these that I see, I'm like, I didn't see that. I must have missed that whole, some of the little bits in them. I must have missed the whole episode because I don't even know that storyline. And I kept, watching them and kept seeing that. And I'm like, wow. I don't know if it was, okay, this person is going to cause people problems, Bubba, in that Bubba truck. Because I'm going the speed limit. And so are they, the other side. They're going a little faster now. But really, this isn't, that's going about 55, 60, and this is a neighborhood with kids, so, yeah. Wow, look at it. I mean, it is way down there now. Wow. Anyway, real life happens in the middle of the video. But anyway, I think it's weird that I either skipped all those during that time or I just don't remember them. But at the same time, I know that they had me on one of the other things. They had me on healthcare providers, had me on way too much blood pressure. Oh, go get him, cop. He had another one, or she had another one. And that truck slowed down quite a bit. I know. Anyway, get back to the topic. But, yeah, I mean, I thought it was so weird that I had missed all those. More and more I kept saying, I don't know this. I didn't watch that episode. I didn't watch that one. But I really like that show. Seriously. And some other things that I found is weird. But I do want to start mentioning these various things. Giving updates from my own self. If you want to see it, okay. But I want to somewhere have all of these, the little bits, like, like the weight loss. I had to brag, didn't I, that I was losing about almost around a pound a day. Well, that stopped. I knew there was a chance. Actually, the healthcare providers haven't told me anything about whether it would continue or how it worked at all. And yes, I'm a person who asked. They just didn't answer. But, a lot of things. But that stopped. I don't know if it's temporary because there's a certain kind of food that I'm worried that the people who make it, I have questioned this before I went to the ER that day. If it's a certain kind of food that they use MSG in, I'm curious. How many others remember that there was a time where I said no MSG? There was a law or something, or did we, I know me, maybe got it wrong, that it wasn't made into a law that they couldn't use MSG. I don't know. Anyway, I had some of that food a few days ago, and that seems to be when it stopped. The weight loss stopped. And I'm curious if that's it. If it is, how long will it take for my body to fix that problem? I guess I don't know. You know, I'm not getting enough from the healthcare providers and on this at all. And other things, you know, like, you know, one of the things that happened was a lot of weight gain over time. And I kept complaining, you know, over this time. And they just ignore it. But now that, you know, I had started to lose that weight, it seemed like my body was shifting the weight. And especially, you know, the weight gain that really bothered me was in my abdominal areas. Some people would just say my belly or my stomach. And it actually would make it difficult for me to bend over and pick something off the floor, you know, because it had swollen. It was so swollen. And that's going down, and it still hurts. That's the weird thing. It hurts now that I'm actually losing the weight. Explain that one, you know. So let's see, a bunch of little stuff, you know, the physical therapy. Last night I actually got a night of sleep, you know, about 7 hours, you know, straight. Although because of the medications they had me on, I was up. The Lasix, you know, I was up like every hour or so, but that's fine. I didn't stay up. And before I went to the, I keep saying went to the ER that day, in the evening, I could not sleep at all at night, hardly any at night. And I was only catching about an hour or so during the day. It hurt too much. And I didn't know it, but it was something like, or was water in my lungs. You know, they didn't explain everything to me much, and I'd ask questions. But part of the whole thing was a bit of foggy. I don't know what to call it, foggy brain shock. You know, being so stunned at everything, or just whatever it was, the medications that they had me on too many. Before then, the doctor's office had me on way too much blood pressure medication that they kept saying, you know, each one of them I would look up would say that it causes tiredness. That's how it was put, tiredness. And I was tired all the time. And now I'm down 4 of them. Yeah, I was taking, let's see, 7 a day, 3 different types. Yeah, and now I'm down 4 of them. So that's good. Yeah, much better improvement. So all these little things, you know, give little updates here and there about them. And that's what I want to do, how things are changing. Like I said, for myself, it might not be very entertaining for anybody else, but I do have, you know, I do things like go to grocery stores and such and take videos, and I'll probably put those at the end. I'll put a clip or something or 2 at the end, but we'll see. Okay, but overall, I do feel an improvement. I did go back to working. You know, I went through all that how many times? About why I'm doing what I'm doing, and it's basically, short version is, in order to get affordable health care insurance, I have to work, and with edema, I have to do some kind of a job that I could go home whenever I want to, work as an independent contractor. The only thing I could think of was what I was watching at the time, watching people do it, and that is food delivery. And there's the short version. They wouldn't let me just pay for the insurance. No, they just pay outright. I have to be working. Yeah, that's the short version. But anyway, so I started doing that in 2023. And it was hard. It was difficult enough for me then, because that's when all that stuff started. All not just the one thing, but various things, health conditions. You know, it had started right before all that. That's why I got the insurance. But, and there's some more noise. Okay, anyway, and I did turn my blinker on finally. But anyway, but I did try to go back to work 2 days ago. I worked yesterday and the day before, but I realized, yeah, it's one of those things that I have to take very slowly. Seriously, the biggest problem that I'm having is both sleeping and it's my sides. It's my hip on the sides. I mentioned I'm in physical therapy. That's for hamstring muscles because of a rare health condition. And part of it is the hip too, where the leg connects. So, and that I didn't think that it would cause me that much just sitting in my car. You know, not car, I have an SUV. But did not think that that was going to do that. So it's going to be slow going. So we'll see. Okay, pardon this wall. But I'm probably going to be here for an hour and a half about. Oh, and I got in my SUV, and the weirdest thing, I just got yesterday 4 brand new tires on my SUV. It's got 20,845 miles on it. I bought a new May 2019. Should not have. I don't know how that works. Why I needed new tires when it's usually like 50. What it says online is 50 to 75,000. Well, these new tires I got, they are warranted or whatever for 80,000 miles. Somebody explain this to me, okay? But anyway, so I got the tires. By the way, they cost $1,005.56 with tax. Yeah. I don't plan on ever having to change my tires. By the time they, with my, bought it new in 2019. This is 2025, and it's only got 20,845 miles on it. I don't plan on, before I buy a new one, I guess, having to change the tires. But yeah, but anyway, I did that, and then today I got in my SUV, and the, like where the time and date and all that is it turned off, and I tried to set it up, do the setup, like click that, nothing. There's no date and time isn't even. I can't even click it. It's there, but it's just. I don't know why it's not working. That is weird, don't you think? Why in the world would that happen? I don't need more problems. I don't. I really don't. I'm planning on having good things to say in these videos, improvements, with me and my life, mainly me and my health, and whatever else goes on in my life. But we'll see. I just think that's weird. Now, see, I didn't see that where the date and time. Earlier, I didn't see that that's not lit up. I can't even click on it. The other things I can click on. So I tried to call Adam to ask him, but he didn't answer. So I don't know how to fix it. And I can't even click on where the date and time. Nope, it's not letting me click that. So one thing after another, but we're not going there. So, anyway, I don't know what time it is. Well, I got it on my phone I'm using to make this video. So I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye. Okay, I went to physical therapy. I thought I'd add a little more to it. And I got out in my my SUV. I mentioned this about the time and date weren't on. Well, I came out, got in my SUV, and they're working again. I don't think, well, it might be the right time, actually. It's the right date. Weird, isn't it? But right before that, I tried to make a phone call, and my phone said I'm not registered to any network. I went, what the crap? Then I looked at the time that's when I saw the time was working on my SUV. what's with technology today? These things are not related to one another. So, anyway, SUV was brutal. SUV was brutal. PT, physical therapy, was brutal. Not really. It's something because I'm using muscles in ways. I mean, how do you do that? I don't go around. I made myself laugh the other day by saying that my physical therapy consists of basically I put my right foot in, I take my right foot out, I put my right foot in, and I shake it all about. Remember the song? Do the hokey pokey. Yeah. But hey, somebody has to laugh at it, even if it's me. But yeah, a lot of it is that. A lot of it is kicking outward. But I also do that Stairmaster thing, but it's one that you sit down and you do it. Stepmaster, I think is that one. And it's in front of me. I couldn't do the bicycle. There's some things I have really bad balance for some reason. Yeah, I don't go around testing my balance. So, but anyway, it was a good workout. And now, the rest of the day off, I realized I am not going to be able to go right to work because it does work certain muscles, especially on the hips, and that's what I'm having a problem with on the sides of the hips, so on the side of my body around the hips, something like that. Yeah, anatomy was a long time ago. Was it anatomy? Anatomy and physiology, right? Classes that was in university. So, anyway, that's enough. I'll talk to y'all in another video. Bye. Okay, forgive me. I'm sitting at a wall. Actually, I'm sitting at a restaurant. I just left physical therapy. And I thought I'd stop, and I couldn't get in touch with Adam. So I went ahead and stopped here. I would say it's a family-owned restaurant. So there won't be too much sodium, I think. I haven't eaten here in a long time, but it's a Mexican, Tex-Mex. Well, actually, I would say it's authentic Mexican. So, let me see what it says. Yep, it's authentic. So, anyway, orders both steak, enchiladas, and then some torta cubana. Actually, I see it on the wall. Anyway, I haven't tried one of those. Not from here. But anyway, so I'm sitting in front of this, and it's funny because I drove up and there's this big vase, not vase, a planter for like I guess a big shrub or something, and it's sitting really close to the edge. I'm telling you, I pulled in here and it is not even an inch. It is like maybe even a quarter of an inch from me touching it. Seriously, my SUV touching it. I'm like, whoa, that is some kind of driving. For me to get that close. Seriously. But I have been driving for 46 years, so there's that. Yeah. You should have seen the last time I parallel parked. I got in there so perfect. I was so proud of myself. I am serious, so proud of myself. You know, after all these years, you would think a person knows how to parallel park. But we don't parallel park much here in Texas, and any part of Texas I've ever seen. Maybe downtown, like Dallas, yeah, you might have some of the, you know, downtowns, maybe. But generally not. I've lived in several places in Texas. Several towns, with several cities in Texas. And a few smaller towns, but I've been plenty of places in Texas. So all the way across it. I haven't been all the way. Actually, I have. I'm lying. I've been to Mexico. So, and I've been to Oklahoma. So, you name it, I've been there. In that area. So, and no, you don't see much need to parallel park ever. Yeah, unless you're unlucky. But anyway, I need to be testing with the time. I gotta go in and get my food. And I hope I put my receipt in here somewhere so they don't say, "Here's your receipt." Let's see. It's called Doña Marie. Doña. Anyway. Yeah, it's only 4 minutes so far. But I'm tired. I was telling Adam that I was going to, you hear all that crinkle? Are you the type that crinkling stuff like that irritates you? Or you like it? I like it. So, I'm one who likes it. But anyway, I was telling Adam that, I'm going to, after, I'm doing this working and all this, that after I go through my physical therapy, I would go, straight and work from there, try to get jobs there. And man, I came out of physical therapy today. Brutal. It's not really, but my muscles feel it quite a bit. And walked out of there, and I had to walk. There were some people getting the elevator where we were standing, and I went ahead and came down, and it took me to a different place of that area of that place to walk out, and it basically took me outside, and it was like, this is a lot on my body. But I always have to walk in and out, about the same equidistance, really, just a different way, and it was like, this is kind of, yeah, my body is feeling it. I really need to bump it up. She told me I can do these every day from home. These different exercises. She told me that the first or second visit to do them from home too. Back then I was not feeling it because, back then I did not know that I had heart failure. That's the way they put it. They didn't put it congestive heart failure. I don't know what the difference is, but the both cardiologists, the one in the ER and then the one that I had to go see for follow-up is now my cardiologist. Neither one of them said congestive heart failure, and both of them put it as though this is a warning. Hello, wake up. That's the way I put it, but they both put it as though it's just a warning. It's not the full yet. It's not a full one. I don't know. Seriously, I was kind of like, whoa, when I went in there. Plus, they put me on that Lasix. I'm on that full time. They gave me an injection that day, and then I've been on it since then. That's, how many weeks is it? 2.5, 3 weeks? Something like that. Yeah, almost 3 weeks. So, yeah. Okay. If I can do the math, it's almost 3 weeks. Yeah. That's a lot. So since then, things have been changing in me. I can breathe. I had immediately when they did that injection, and they kept me there for like 2 hours. When an hour and a half after that, I guess. And then I got up to go, leave, and I was walking with no problem. It was immediate relief from the whole problem with shortness of breath, that I couldn't walk. It had gotten to the point where it was so bad. That day that I went, it was so bad I couldn't even. I had parked at an urgent care, and just on the side of their door, and the door was just around the L, right there. And it wasn't. These urgent cares aren't huge, even here in Texas. And I walked around, and I couldn't breathe. By the time I got in there, I was like, almost just, like I couldn't catch my breath. And they said, "We're not seeing you. You're going to the hospital." She was real nice. I said, "Okay, I'm going." And luckily, I went to the right one. I've said all this, but I'm just sitting here waiting on my food. So y'all are with me for the sit and wait. But so much has improved. But at the same time, my body, since I'm back to doing physical therapy and back to being, trying to be back to work, that's going to go so slow. I don't even know if I want to, you know, putting videos up of each time, because I went 2 days so far, yesterday and the day before, and only did one order each time, and my body was hurting. My body was hurting because of sitting and waiting for, you know, and driving different places, because I wanted to go to each place, each zone, although some people say they have a zone, but each zone that I know that I've done from, and not on that one. The ones people say doesn't have a zone, but they do. Trust me. And different parts of the county, and try those and see which ones are going to be okay for getting more. You know, I have to remember, I haven't done it since sometime last year. So just to see which areas I'm gonna stick to this. And I think it is, I'm going to be in one certain place during the week, and then on the weekend with Adam and two other zones. So, well, I still need to check. But I was going to work after going to physical therapy today, and my body said I'm not happening. But I kind of knew that, because I thought, you know, the time that I would be up on my feet and not elevating them would be too much. Oh, it's time for me to go get my food. Okay, what is it today? I got in my SUV to go to physical therapy, and the what is it called? The time and date weren't on. I went to set them, and it wouldn't even let me select that to set them. And I just got new tires yesterday. I told Adam, I said, they wouldn't touch that, would they? You know, it was at Costco. And he said, no. So I'm like, wow, what's going on? Got out of physical therapy, and my phone said, I tried to call Adam, and my phone said that I wasn't registered to any network. And I'm like, what the crap? You know, and I turned it off and turned it back on, and it worked. And then I looked at my, you know, the GPS, where the GPS is on the console. What do you call that area these days? Anyway, and the time and the date was, they were back. So on my SUV, it's like, what is this? Those two things are not connected to one another. So my phone and my GPS monitor, whatever that thing is now. Yeah, they're not connected. They're not on any kind of same network or anything. So what's going on? Then I go and get us something to eat. You know, Adam and I, something to eat, and I hadn't made a clip, but I don't know if I want to put that at the end or what. But I went there, and it didn't even register in my head that she didn't charge me enough. And what it was, I'd ordered 2 enchilada meals and a torta, and she only got 1 enchilada meal and a torta, and I had to wait for that 20 minutes or close enough. And I'm like, not 20 minutes, I don't know how long. And I'm like, wow. And then she didn't hear me, and like I said, the price did not register in my head that it was not, that it was off. It should have been. It was right. It was a few cents less than $30. It should have been $45. So yeah, meals are expensive, but I didn't know how much that torta was going to cost me. So it was a meal. I thought it was just a sandwich. Go figure. I don't know these things. But anyway, it's one of those days when things are off. I might, like I said, I might put that clip at the end if I remember, just sitting there waiting. But, and then I went in thinking, oh, it's time. No, I had to wait another 10 minutes. So altogether, I guess it was 20 minutes I waited. Yeah. I'm kind of rambling today. My body's hurting a little bit. Mainly on one side, on my left side. I went to physical therapy, and that's the side that's been hurting the most all this time, and I don't know why. still can't get really healthcare professionals to be really professional and not worry about, oh, I got to rush to my next one. Just don't schedule them so close together. Seriously, that's the solution. You're 10 minutes late for my 30-minute appointment. The first visit to cardiologist is 10 minutes late and gets out of there so he can get to the next appointment. You know, I lost my 10 minutes. The visit was supposed to be 30 and he was 10 minutes late, so I lost 10 minutes out of my appointment, which I needed to ask a whole bunch of questions, you know, and I asked as many as I could, but he was in such a hurry, you know, to get to the next person on time with them. What about me? That happened with another place too, and I was ticked. I understood the situation, she was doing a triage to send somebody to the hospital, but she was an hour late for my appointment, and she just come in, said, you know, 2 minutes, like a whole sum total of 2 minutes, and went out, and that was the first visit. That was about a year before then. So I have all these questions still, you know, all those other visits I mentioned, you know, for the past 2 years and not getting answers. When do I ever get answers? Really, when do they ever spend the time to give answers? You're like, how much time how much should I work? How should I go slow? Should I go fast? You know, do I build up? And what does that mean to build up if I do? You know, these kinds of things, you know, they don't take the time. There's so much, you know, that many of them, they work for a place where they are timed. You know, they have to get so many in a day, you know, and timed. You better hurry. You're gonna miss this, or you're gonna miss that. You're gonna, you know. Anyway, I'm hungry, so I'm hangry right now. Not really angry. It just is what it is. It really is. Just is what it is. You know, I've given up, hoping that I find. You know, I liked the last one. I liked the cardiologist I went to. I liked the cardiologist at the ER that day. You know, he diagnosed like he should have. Like this other one, but this other one didn't spend, the one I was referred to, didn't spend enough time with me to answer questions. I have lots of questions. And I like the last, you know, PCP. I'll keep him. You know, so I'm not saying all of them are bad. It's just that they don't take the time. And that's detrimental. That could be really detrimental to people's health when they don't have the time, but 2 minutes. And then you're going to find everything out in 2 minutes, or you're just going to come in and say, well, you tested this and this, and we need to make another appointment for that. Yeah, that's not working. Doesn't work for me. Anyway, wrapping it up. I'll talk to you on another video.